Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm losing it over here. I think we have volume now. We should be good. All right. I swear. I got everything set up. I've been working here the last 2 days, making sure everything's set up and ready to go. I hope we have audio now. So let me know if we don't. As I was saying, so we had a volatile weekend. Lots going on this weekend. I myself was thinking about stepping away from the markets completely here today. That wasn't the case. I couldn't step away here today. We have a lot going on here in the United States. Obviously, the Democrats are trying to push to get Trump out of office via impeachment or Article 25. Doesn't seem that the GOP is going to let that go through. But we want to keep an eye on that stuff. I mean, that could create some volatility. I think the markets at this point have already factored in, and they have since November, kind of factored in that Joe Biden is going to be president. Whether that's tomorrow or on the 20th, I think the markets have factored that in. But if we see something come across the radar when you are trading, get out if it doesn't make any sense. Get out of that position. Wait for some sort of confirmation. Wait for the markets to settle, because I don't think it's going to cause a long-term market effect, but it could have some very short-term extreme volatility, possible limits one way or the other. Things could happen, so we want to be prepared for that. It is Monday, so if you guys didn't have a good day, we got a long week ahead of us. A lot of trading, a lot of opportunity, and as I said having audio, the volatility seems like it's going to be here for a little while. Bitcoin, on the other hand, Bitcoin's an impressive one. We've been talking about that one this year, so we're going to continue to bring that stuff up because I find it interesting. As simple as that, I find it interesting. And in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has lost $200 billion on that pullback. People lost approximately 200 billion. Massive number there. So do I think Bitcoin's over? Absolutely not. I think we saw a huge surge the last couple weeks in that product, and people are going to take some profits, get out when there's a little bit of concern. We saw equities all-time highs, and we see gold starting to sell off a little bit as well. So it makes total sense. We've got that going on. So I just see, okay, everyone says we got audio, so that's good to hear. JD, I see you in there, and I also see you did message me. Can't hear me on YouTube, but I think we're good. I think we got it, guys. I think I finally have it all working over here. By the way, don't forget Thursday, instead of the market recap, we are going to have a Q&A. Myself and founder and CVO of Top Step, Michael Patak, are going to sit down. That link is already out there it's in our emails. You should be able to see it on our YouTube page as well. That's going to be on Tuesday, so make sure you guys check that one out. That's going to be fun. I want you guys to bring as many questions as you can. We're going to go through as many as humanly possible as time will allow. So I hope to see all of your guys' names there and bring on some questions. We're going to talk anything from what's going on here at Top Step. Obviously, we look a little different these days, so we'll be talking about that. We're going to talk about things that we've been doing in the markets, myself and Michael in particular, and things that Michael learned over his illustrious career. He's been at this for a very long time. He is still a very active trader. I feel like I'm talking to him daily about what's going on in the markets. So he's still a very active trader, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say there. I want to say hello to everyone, and then we'll hop into these charts. Felix, good to see you. Murph, James, Chris, thanks for pointing out the volume, guys. I do apologize. I think it's all better. Finally. Tanya, good to see you. Chris, we're good. All right. JD, there you are. And Level 2, People of Earth, good to see you as well. Level 2, hope everything's going well for you. Haven't seen much of you these days. I know you got a lot going on. So let's go ahead. We got a question here. Hi, Dan. Hi, traders. It's my first day as a funded trader. Having a lot of fun. Hell yes. Love to hear that. Congratulations getting to that funded account. I look forward to seeing your name up on the boards there. And hopefully we have some time to talk down the road. Daryl, good to see you as well. All right. Let's go ahead. Dive into these charts. And as always, we're going to go into crude oil to start. So crude oil, just like most of these markets, really a quiet day here today. Market opened up. It got above Friday's value area high. From there, it really struggled to move to anything too much. We got to settlement price, which was essentially Friday's high point during regular trading hours. Keep that one in mind. That was our high node during regular trading hours. But really, the trade here, the opportunity here was the move off the open, closing that gap to settlement price, and from there really stalled out. We do know as of last year, there was a common theme that was going on. Anytime this market got to 55, those furloughs got lifted, and I'm not sure exactly where we stand today. It's been a little while since these markets were trading above $50, but we want to keep that one in mind. If this market does get towards 50, what's going to happen? We have a lot that's about to change within U.S. policies. How much is oil going to be affected? Is oil going to be affected? So we want to be cautious, paying attention to what's going on there. Be prepared. If you're trading crude oil, make sure you're looking into some of the policies that can change and will be enacted within this product. Next, go ahead and look at S&P 500. Remember, settlement price 38.17.5. But during our regular trading hours, market just never made it. We came and worked our way down towards Friday's swing low. Notice how we talk about swing lows, swing highs a lot. Make sure you're checking those out as markets approach them. Market opened up just above that swing low after checking it and really started to work its way back, but could not get there. We got ourselves to yesterday or Friday's point of control, and from there, it stalled. Buyers aren't looking to see this thing make new highs just yet, as there's so much uncertainty. So we're finding a relatively fair value right now, right around that 3,800 mark. Remember, 3,800, that is a BFRM, big, fat, round number. Will it continue to be resistant, or are we going to finally accept above this price? I mean, we thought we had a little bit of acceptance with settlement the other day, just above here, up at 17.5, but today, the market really struggled to hold up above 3,800, so we're going to continue to keep an eye on that price. Next, go ahead and look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq a little bit weaker. There are concerns with everything going on in the tech world right now that as traders and investors, we want to be paying attention to. Twitter, we heard the news. They have officially banned President Trump from Twitter. Is that going to have an effect here? I know we've seen Twitter's stock price has stumbled a little bit, but nothing too big yet after they were near some highs for the year. But here's what we got. Market opened up, tried to get back into Friday's value area, never really accepted up above value area, but man, we got some great opportunities for short at that value area. We had one opportunity a little bit after the open. We broke down. We came and checked swing low from Friday, rallied back up towards value area low again, and boom, the bottom fell out, and this market continues to stumble. Next, let's go ahead and look at gold, which stayed really a quiet day here today. After John kind of finished speaking with you guys, we were sitting right at settlement price. And we all know settlement price, trading at that price is going to do one of two things. Either it's going to be an accelerant in the direction that the market is going leading up to it, or it's going to be like a diving board, a little bit of a springboard. That market's going to hit it, and it's going to send that market in the opposite direction. And that's what it did. It sent that market in the opposite direction, but it stalled out pretty darn quickly as we hit the consolidation from that overnight session. After that, there really wasn't a whole lot of trade here. Maybe some small little chipping away at a couple ticks here, a couple ticks there. But ultimately, this was our move off a settlement price, working ourselves right back to overnight consolidation. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the currencies, and we'll get on out of here. Just like gold, the euro opened up on the lows. Bowie picked up the buyers pretty quickly, and was it going to work its way all the way back to settlement price? Well, no. We really have maintained over the last couple days this downward trend, and it's holding strong, and that's what I'm going to focus on here right now. Any bit of strength I see in this market as we trend lower, I'm looking at strength to short. When we have a market that's in a trending direction right now, when we look at this in a little bit shorter time frame, we are seeing that this market is maintaining trend to the low. Something I love to do, and I've done this a bunch with you guys, I love to make sure I'm keeping an eye on everything that I look at in a channel of a trading channel, right? Every time that market comes near the low side of that channel, if we're trending lower, I'm going to try to avoid being short down here. I'm waiting for that market to bounce off that area to then get my opportunity. And then I do it on the upside as well, because the upside really helps kind of define a little bit of a channel. Here we go. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. The market has traded up and above and below here, but a lot of times we have started to see multiple points where this market came up to the high side, sold back down to the low side, rallied back up. Obviously, we pushed right through, but once we accepted back in here, we rallied right down to the low side of that channel, back to the high side, back to the low side, back to the high side, and back to the low side and to the high side once again. So I'm going to continue to pay attention to this channel on a short time frame here when I'm trading the euro. Next, let's go ahead and look at the yen. Really quiet day, but just like gold, just like euro, market opened up on the low, pressed higher, never really fell into anything of importance. We came just shy of Friday's, or just up to Friday's low of the day, and that was about it. And then we stalled here since about 10:30 this morning, 11 o'clock. It's really kind of fallen into a pattern. So if you had that long, it gave you time to say, all right, this market is exhausted at this point. Let's see if we can, let's get out of this position. Let's see if we can get some overnight opportunity. So just a couple things going on in these markets here today. Again, hope you guys all had found some good opportunity here as always. Want to see us progressing. We want to see us making sure we're making smart trades. Tanya, I see your question here. Dan, you are looking at a 4-hour mostly for your trend ideas, right? Well, Tanya, when I look at trend's a little different. I look at the 4-hour, really, that's kind of my go-to for acceptance over levels and areas of the market trading. But really, when I look at trend, I'm looking at it in all time frames. I don't really go much lower than a 30-minute. Very rarely do you see me even get down to a 15-minute chart. But I think you can use these ideas of trend and channels like that for pretty much every time frame. Obviously, if you're trading on a smaller time frame, you're not looking for those huge moves. You have to accept that. If you're looking at a 5-minute chart or a 1-minute chart, you're going to look at things a little bit differently. You have to keep that risk a little bit tighter. That profit target's always going to be a little bit tighter, strictly because you don't have that huge scope of the market. But I use the 4-hour really mostly for acceptance. I watch that 4-hour quite a bit. I really enjoy that chart. So if you guys are looking to add something, I don't think the 4-hour hurts. I know a lot of professional traders that look at the 4-hour. As a matter of fact, one in particular is Anne-Marie Ban. Worked with her quite a bit here at Top Step. She is a phenomenal trader. I believe her book is called The Trading Book. So check her out. She's got some great stuff there. All right. So we talked about what's going on with Bitcoin. We talked about what's going on in politics, in the government here in the United States. We have said Bitcoin. That's kind of our product that we want to keep an eye on. And well, we bought it, let's remember, at 34.51 half. That's where we bought it. We are down just slightly on our Bitcoin price right now. Bitcoin at the moment's trading 34.29. 34.29 is where Bitcoin. So we're down a little bit, but hey, we got a long year ahead of us. It's only day 11, so 360 or 354 more days to see this thing move higher. And then Airbnb. We're down a little bit there too. Airbnb's down just slightly at 147. 147. Or excuse me, we just bounced. It did just bounce a little bit here. 148.13, and we bought it at 148.30. We're only down 17 cents. Again, we're looking at this long term, so we got a long ways to go. Haven't taken a whole lot of risk. I mean, we took, it looks like our low here. Our low today was about $45.50. Down a little bit, but market brought it back up for us. We were in the money a little bit at one point and gave back here this afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on these things. We'll keep checking them out. Tesla, on the other hand, gosh, I just got to keep bringing it up because, God, it's fun to watch. $811. Elon Musk, richest man in the world because of this. And if we remember about a year ago, maybe a little more, he said he thinks the stock price was a little too high, and I believe it was around 700 something. And he said it's a little too high. So lots going on in those. And then we got to check our VIX here as well. VIX today, really ultimately quiet. I think we opened up at 24.44. We're ending the day right now, 24.34. Really quiet day here on the VIX. The real one, I see a question to Sunday before market count as day trade completion. Yeah, Sunday is part of the Monday, is the pre-market to the Monday. So Sunday at 5 p.m. until Monday at 3:10. That's one day. Then Monday at 5 to 3:10. The next day is day 2. So, yes, it sure does. The trading week starts Sunday night. Jonathan, hey, Dan, I recently started trading the combine. I find that I'm taking profits too soon. Do you have any advice to mitigate that issue? All right, Jonathan, phenomenal question. I got a lot of things for this one. I don't know what kind of time frame you're looking at, but typically a lot of times when I hear traders that are taking profits too soon, they're looking a little bit too small of a time frame. So one of the things I would say, open up your time frame. It slows the view of the market down. Now, if you're looking at a decent time frame, if you're looking at that 15, 30-minute time frame or a little bit higher than that, then we have other things we got to do. So the next thing we want to do, every trade that you enter, you have to have two things when you're getting into the trade. You have to know where you're going to call it quits, and you have to have an idea of where that profit target is. If you are susceptible to jumping out early, then make sure you're not touching that profit target. Let that market play out. I wouldn't say go too much. I'd really try to keep it, for starters, 2-to-1 reward over risk. So your reward is 2, your risk is 1 on that ratio. Start there. And I'd start to see how that plays out. If you want to start to open things up there, by all means, but I'd really focus on that. Now, the key here, when you are thinking about reward to risk to reward ratio, whenever you're thinking about that stuff, something you want to keep in mind, and this is where I think a lot of traders struggle. They instantly put that trade on. They find where that profit target's going to be, and then they just place that risk in a location that makes sure their ratio is okay or based off of a dollar value on their risk. Now, that's going to be okay, but that's going to have to start to change our entry point. And if you start to think that you're just putting a stop in a place because that's what you can afford to risk, that's where we're going to struggle. We want to make sure those stops are at points of invalidation, the point where that market, we would start to look for that market to move in a different direction. We want to get out of that trade. Or when we get to that price, we're going to start to make some adjustments. So if it's on the other side of an area of a level of importance that we're looking at, or some sort of moving average or points of control, whatever the case may be, you want to adjust your entry points to that. So the biggest thing I would say is when you're entering into your trade, know where your risk is, know where your profit target is, and then sit back. And then I have this one. So this is a little caveat to that. When I get within 10% of that profit target, if I feel like I'm good with what I've got, I'm willing to take that trade off, lock in that profit, and that to me is a quality trade. That's part of my rule, is I have a 10% move. So if I'm within 10% of that profit target, that's the only time it's acceptable to lock in that profits. Now, there's always things can change. We can get hit with some market news that is totally changing everything, and there's nothing we can do about that. When that happens, get out of that trade because things are about to change. Now, if that news is in theory going to help you out, or you don't think that news is going to affect what's going on in the market, hey, then you're okay. But if it's questionable news and we don't know what this is really going to do, and 99% of news that we get, no matter what it is, we don't know what the market's going to do. We can't trade to that. We can just trade after what happens from there. So just a couple things to keep in mind. All right, guys. Let's not forget tomorrow, relatively quiet day on economic releases. At 9 a.m. Central Time, we'll have the JOLTS. And at 7:55, the Red Book comes out. But other than that, relatively quiet. But keep an eye on the news if something comes out. Like I said in the very beginning, close your positions if you don't know what's happening. Close those positions. If you don't know what's happening, get out. It goes back to what we were talking about with Jonathan. If we get new news, we're in the middle of a trade, 99% of news that comes across, we don't know what it's going to. We have an idea, and maybe a lot of times we're in the right frame of mind, but again, or we have an idea, we have a good idea of where it's going to go, but a lot of times we're jumping in the wrong spot, or volatility increases and ranges start to change and things start to change. So get out of that trade and call it a day. All right, lastly, this date in history. The first one, 1964, the U.S. Surgeon General announces definitive link between smoking and cancer. So you smokers out there, always think about your health. We've got this one I think is pretty cool. 1908, Teddy Roosevelt makes the Grand Canyon a national monument. And that's what we got here on this date in history. Other than that, guys, I hope you all have a spectacular day. It's a long week. We got a lot of opportunity ahead of us. So trade smart, trade well. I look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.